Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the male reproductive system. In this video, we are discussing about the vas deferens, its course and relations and its structure. Discussing about the vas deferens, course and relations and its structure. First we are discussing about what is vas deferens. Vas deferens, or it is otherwise called as ductus deferens. It is a thick cord-like tubular structure. This thing is called as the vas deferens, and it is 45 centimeter long, that means 18 inches long. It resembles a whipcord because its musculature it is thicker than the luminal size. That means the luminal size is very narrow, and the muscular structure it is thicker. That's why it is resembles a whipcord like. And we are going with the next slide. It is cause and relations of vas deferens. Actually, the vas deferens which begins from the tail of epididymis. Here we can see the tail of epididymis. It is the distal end of the epididymis which is continuous as the vas deferens. It ascends upwards behind the testis and medial to the epididymis. It ascends upwards behind the testis. Here we can see the testis and medial side of the epididymis. Here's the epididymis and here's the testis on the medial side of the epididymis, which ascends upwards, and it enters into the spermatocord. Here we can see the spermatocord and its contents, and it travels into the inguinal canal. First it enters into the superficial inguinal canal, then it goes to the deep inguinal canal. Then in the spermatocord, the vas deferens which lies posterior part, and it is accompanied by a pair of testicular veins. Here we can see the testicular vein. The blue color structure it is called as a testicular vein, and the red color structure it is called as artery. So it is accompanied by the testicular veins and artery. These are the spermatocord and its content. Here we can see this longer structure it is called as the vas deferens, and these are the veins. Here is the paminiform plexus. We already studied that what is paminiform plexus. Okay, then at the deep inguinal ring, here first it pierces the superficial inguinal ring, and that enters into the deep inguinal ring. At the deep inguinal ring, the vas deferens which lies the spermatic cord, and it's wind rounds the lateral side of inferior epigastric artery. Here we can see first it enters to the superficial inguinal ring, and which is going upwards, and it's winds around the inferior epigastric artery. Here we can see the inferior epigastric artery. Then it ascends about 2.5 centimeter in front of the external iliac artery. Here is the external iliac vessels. This red color structure it is called as the external iliac artery, and that means it ascends about 2.5 centimeter in front in the external iliac artery and passes subperitoneally backwards. It passes subperitoneally backwards and downwards along the lateral posterior or lateral pelvic wall, which runs downwards and backwards towards the lateral pelvic wall, and it crosses the medial side of external iliac artery. Then it crosses the medial side of external iliac artery or the external iliac vessels, and obliterated umbilical artery, obturator, nerves and vessels. Here we can see the obliterated umbilical artery and obturator, nerves and vessels here. Okay, which on that means it is when it enters into the or passes through the inguinal ring, the deep inguinal ring, and it runs downwards and backwards towards the medial side of external iliac vessels, and it crosses the obliterated umbilical artery, obturator, nerves and vessels. And the vas deferens which crosses above and medial to the terminal part of ureter. Here we can see the ureter. It crosses the ureter and make an angular bend. It forms an angular bend which downwards and medially, and it close to the posterior or towards the posterior border of the urinary bladder. Then it passes behind the base of bladder in front, and it is related with ampulla on the medial side of the seminal vesicle. Here we can see the seminal vesicle. Here is the prolonged or larged portion, and enlarged portion is called as the ambulary region. Then this part that present a dilatation, that the distal end of the vas deferens that forms a dilatation. This dilatation, it is called as ampulla. The ampulla, it is act as a storage or the reservoir of semen. It is a reservoir of semen. Finally, it is reaches the vas deferens, which is reaches the base of prostate, and it is joins with the duct of seminal vesicle. Finally, it is joins with the it reaches the posterior border of prostate gland, and it is joins with the seminal vesicle to form a strong and a single duct. It is called as ejaculatory duct. Then we are discussing about the structure. Here we can see the ambulatory region of vas deferens, and it is a seminal vesicle which is joins to form a single duct. It is called as the ejaculatory duct, and it is enters into the prostate gland. Here is a prostate gland. This muscular structure, it is called as urinary bladder. Here is the vas deferens. Okay, and when discussing about the cross section of the vas deferens, on cross section we can see the three cords from outside to inside. The outermost layer, it is called as the areolar layer, then the thickened muscular layer, and innermost layer, it is called as the mucous layer. Then the muscular layer, it is made up of, or the muscular cord, it is made up of ill-defined outer and inner longitudinal muscles and the middle circular muscles. Then the mucous membrane, it is mainly lined by the non-ciliated columnar epithelium, and it is specialized for secretory epithelium. Thank you.